All right, here we are making tortillas. So we got all of our ingredients. We got some all-purpose flour. In this case, a half cup of butter, but we're gonna melt the butter. You could do a quarter cup of butter, a quarter cup of like some other fat. You could put bacon fat or bacon grease, I guess if you had it, or beef tallow, something like that. If you want a little extra flavor, but generally this works pretty good. You could also just use a half cup of vegetable oil. People do that as well. 1¼ cups of hot water, probably at least 120 degrees or so. I put it in the microwave usually for about 1:30. Just want to make sure it's not too hot, that's all. About a teaspoon of salt. You could have a couple teaspoons, you could have a little bit less. Just gives it a little more salt variety flavor. I put a teaspoon of baking powder in, which I think helps them rise a little bit, makes them a little fluffier, flakier. Generally, I just recommend it. It's cheap, not a big deal. And then it's good to have like a bench scraper. You don't need one, but like these are really cheap. This one's actually not very expensive either. You get these like in a 3-pack, 5-pack or something, and they work fine for scraping. You can also use them for scraping out bowls if you're making other things. But these definitely work great for cleaning up the counter, and then occasionally you might need to get like that first tortilla off the surface. It's definitely helpful with that. And that is about it. So let's see. So here we are. Let's make some tortillas. I have melted the butter. So once we have a scale, we're going to put this, we're going to tar the scale, and we're going to put 550 grams of flour. So a little more. Oh, a little too much. That's okay. All right, close enough. Now, add our salt. Here's my teaspoon. About a teaspoon of salt in this case, but 1 or 2 teaspoons is somewhere around where I usually do it. We have this, and now, I know I said I had everything, but I don't. Here's a whisk. So we're going to whisk this just so that we kind of get this all incorporated. And we'll put this guy to the side for right now. Hopefully this camera is catching some of my awesome stirring. And so first thing we're going to do is we're going to pour this butter. I guess actually it's a half cup of butter, I guess. 1/4 cup. It's 1 stick, which now I'm going to just mix it around. Some people say use cold butter. Some people say use soft butter. I found that using the melted butter, because a lot of people also say use vegetable oil or something. So basically, we want to get it mixed up. Get a texture kind of like this. If you clump it, you grab it, it stays in a clump. But a little bit like sand, well, moon sand, I don't know. Something like that. So, again, here it is. You clump it, it stays clumped, more or less. And then we need 1¼ cup of hot water. There we go. Ooh, this water's a little hot. That's okay. This could be an outtake reel if it's too hot. In my case, I'm just going to pour it in the middle here. And I'm going to whisk it in everywhere. Like I said, you could do this with a spoon at first. It is a bit incorporating into my hand, but I'm trying to get this. Hand just seems to be about the best tool for this, in my opinion. Yes, it's a little sticky right now. But now that we're pretty well incorporated, right? It's still sort of a sticky mess. That's okay though. Let's dump this out, what we've got here at the moment. And then we're gonna do a little kneading of the dough. And if it's terribly sticky, you could always put a little bit of flour on your work surface, but this one's not too bad. Actually, who knows, maybe I made it too dry. Although, yes, it's all stuck to my hand, but it could still be too dry. All right, and then, notice the texture is a little odd, but we're gonna do this, we're gonna just do some basic kneading for a couple minutes. Not too long. You don't wanna make the dough like too stiff. All the mixing will give you some gluten, and then you'll have well, you have gluten anyway, but it builds the gluten structures and then it makes it tough. So then it takes longer for it to relax. It might be a little tougher to roll out, but as you can see here, look, the dough is getting smoother. A lot of times I have it a little stickier than this, so I said put 1 1/4, but I might put a little more than that. Really depends. This looks pretty good. You don't want it to be too dry. If it's dry, you make thicker tortillas, but the tortillas also won't be as flexible. A lot of times I have it a little bit wetter, a little bit squishier than this. It does make a softer tortilla that also lasts in a couple more days as a soft tortilla, as opposed to one that's quite stiff, which is probably the hallmark of most homemade tortillas. They're a little stiff. But this particular setup should give us some nice soft tortillas. So there we go. Now we got the dough. We can put a scale somewhere where we can see the weight. And then here's one. You could use a bench scraper if you want to chop these off. First, let's get a good weight. 934 grams, so about 93 grams a piece. Those are going to make 10 tortillas. That is 78. That is not enough. 97. Okay. 92.5. That's a perfect tortilla. And then we're just going to roll these up into a little ball. Some people get really fancy about that. I do not get that fancy about it. Then we're going to put these on the tray. Though is have some saran wrap to cover. Okay. Again, just roll it in a basic ball. Don't have to get too fancy. A lot of people are like showing these like, oh, you want to, I'll show you in a second. 101. No, a little too much. Take that off. And you don't have to be like this. You can do them simpler. I'm just doing this because it's a little better to have them consistent. But you see these people, they'll do that, ooh, let's get this ball in and make sure it's nice and, smooth and everything. And I haven't noticed any difference between that and my obviously less smooth balls. Notice, less smooth. But our tortillas. And we're going to put this plastic wrap, or you can put a moist tea towel or something, but plastic wrap in my case is just easy. And we're gonna take it for about 20 minutes and let these rest so that we can then start making tortillas and cooking tortillas. All right, Megan, Raina, Amelia, Nico, I'm back. For the next piece, we're gonna be rolling out the tortillas. And we also need to get a non-stick pan. In this case, this is the one I've got. And we're gonna get this on the oven. We're gonna heat it up to a medium high, it'll probably be about 400 degrees. Here are our tortilla balls. And we keep this on here the whole time because you don't want them to dry out. If they dry out, your tortillas start getting dry. It's not really what you want to have happen. A little bit sticky, like you can see the texture here. It is a fairly soft item. I'm just going to grab a handful of flour here, dump it there. I'm going to sprinkle some over here. I'm also going to just throw this thing into the flour real quick. Usually the first tortilla I have the most issues with, so we will see. But you can give it a little pre-flatten here with your hand. Then get our roller. And then this part that's always special. Sometimes these come out almost perfectly round. Other times they look like a special art project. But they taste good. So just sort of roll from side to side and hit the angles a little bit. This one actually seems to be, I mean, well, okay, it's pretty round, but you also see they're fairly thin, right? You can kind of see the table underneath, which is about where I like them. And we'll see if it ends up sticking to this or not, which sometimes is an issue. But if it is, got our bench scraper in this case. So let's see how this one, oh, this one feels pretty good. So even though it's pretty thin, you see they do hold up pretty well. All right, here we are ready to cook a tortilla. I'm gonna pop this baby off. We're gonna grab this tortilla, see it dangles and such. Just plop it in. We just range it. This only does minutes, which I think we had a discussion about this at one point in time where I thought this oven did less, but that's because it counts down in seconds. But about 45 seconds, probably about what I'm going to want on the side here. As you can see, it's bubbling up. Looks pretty decent. But while I'm doing that, I'm going to get another dough ball ready. As you can see, it's getting a little puffy. We're gonna pop it. And I wouldn't recommend doing this with your hands, but I've burned my hands a whole lot, so you know I've learned how to keep my hands from feeling pain. Well, not really, but I'm able to keep them usually pretty safe. All right, looking pretty good. This is just this little brown stuff is some burnt flour. You can clean that off between. It doesn't bother me a whole lot, but we're just about done. Yeah, it looks good. Look at it. Beautiful, beautiful. We'll slap it over here in a paper towel. Well, not really paper towel, but something hot. I'm gonna clean this off. There we go. Now we're ready. All right. So here we are, another one. Raina, this is part where probably mommy's gonna have to do it herself because it's really easy to get burned. But you can watch Amelia while mommy's doing the cooking. But you could help on the rolling and getting it prepped if you want. I miss you guys. I hope that this video is somewhat helpful. You guys make some good tortillas and you can say, hey, we got this nice video, Papa, making tortillas. And just a final shot here. Like I said, I just used the towel. We just lay them in there. As you can see, these are beautiful, soft tortillas. And then we just put that and let them cool or get ready to serve them. Whatever you're feeling like. All right, love you guys. Bye.